You introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm the Tantric Mistress E or EK or E, whatever you like to call me.
So are you in a relationship? Like, does your man know what you do? Is he okay with this, or?
Today, as in this many years old, no, I'm single. Single and ready to mingle. No, yeah, I'm like completely free. I do what I want.
Okay, and how did you get into this world?
I was not always single. I was in a long-term marriage. I was for almost 11 years. And I cheated. I unfortunately cheated
Hold on, why did you cheat?
because I wasn't getting what I wanted. I wasn't getting that kind of connection that I really desired.
The intimacy?
The intimacy. There was no sex. There was no touching. We were like very, very close friends, very close homies. Became like a roommate situation instead of a lover situation, and I'm a lover, so I ended up going outside of that situation to find, what I thought would make me happy.
And how long were you guys living like roommates before you decided to cheat?
Like 3 or 4 years, like a long time. It took a long, like, it went from like only, having sex maybe like 4 times a year to 3 times a year to like, I think that last year that we were together, it was once that whole year.
Wow.
Yeah, it took a lot. Like, I was in love. Like, I still love my ex. Like, I love my ex. And I think had he never found out, I would probably still be with him to this day, like doing my thing on the side because I loved him. I didn't like want to leave him. I just needed to be touched. I needed to come. I needed to express myself in a sexual way. So, yeah, I think I honestly think if he would have never found out, I was in a stage in my life where I thought that he would come back around. So in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm just doing this until he starts acting normal again.
Right.
And then we'll go back to normal, and this will be my little, memoirs. And he found out.
So how did he find out that you were cheating? Because as women, we're really good at cheating. How the fuck did you get caught?
I think I wanted to.
I know the feeling.
I think, like, looking back in retrospect, I wanted to.
Yeah.
It was like my last temper tantrum. I had begged, I had cried, I'd done all the things. Mm-hmm. So I recorded a lot of my little escapades, and they were all in my phone. Like, I never really hid it.
Yeah, okay.
Like, to be honest, like, I never hid it.
So I'm sorry to cut you off, but when you were going to cheat, where was you saying you was going? And like, how often was you cheating?
At first I wasn't cheating. I was like going to I would go to like a lifestyle party and just like have fun and like watch people like fucking and just be like in that environment. And then I went to like meeting up with like people at like the gym and like making out and like not fucking, like I was still just like, ooh, and then I met someone and we ended up having sex, and my partner didn't notice.
Okay.
My partner never noticed. So it was like, hey, I'm going to go out with my girlfriends. Do you want to come? I knew that they would say no. I would invite them. They would say no. I would go and have fun and then come back home. Like, it was not it's not even probably the greatest lie I ever told, because I should have just said, yo, if you don't fuck me, I'm going to go do this somewhere else.
Yeah.
And either you can choose to stay and we can have an open relationship, or, we can separate. And that will, I will always take that as like my biggest L, because I never wanted to hurt them. I never wanted to hurt him. Like,
well, I feel like, just speaking to you, you didn't do that because you still wanted him. So you knew that if you said that, there's going to be this huge possibility that it's going to be over.
Right.
And you just want him to wake up.
Right. It was a catch-22 of hear me, please hear me. And I'm not going to hear you until now it's too late for you to hear me. Because we've had conversations afterwards where they've apologized and they've said, I see where you were coming from.
Yeah.
But because I literally saw it with my own eyeballs, I can't take that visually out of my mind.
Right.
But they can understand, like, logically why I did what I did. Because it wasn't out of I'm trying to hurt them. It wasn't because I was like, I just need to, go be a hoe. It was literally like, I haven't had sex in a year. I don't feel beautiful. I feel like there's something wrong with me. I feel like all of these things. And then you go and you're like, damn, it is not me. Mm-hmm. All of this time that I was thinking it was me, I'm like, it's not me. I'm still a beautiful person. I still have this energy about me. I still have all of these things that make me sexy. It's you that you don't see it.
Let me ask you this. Okay, prior to those 3 years, did you guys have sex a lot, or was it always not really a lot of sex, you know?
It was always not a lot because we're parents and, the kids is running around. It was always not a lot, but we used to, like, we would have sex. We would do stuff. We would fuck. Like, we would go to hotels or, especially when we were long distance. Of course, we would, like, go crazy when we saw each other. But it was, like, after we got committed and started living together and that became our committed relationship, it became very complacent. Very complacent. Come home, watching the game, make dinner, here's dinner, go to sleep, do it again the next day.
Super routine.
Super routine. I would cry as I was driving home because I knew that it would be another day of, like, I think I counted like 42 days once when I hadn't been kissed. And not because they're mad at me, not because he was pissed off, not because we did something, but just because it was like, hey, yo, what's up? Like,
well, I have a friend that's married. They've been married like 10 years. They got 2 kids together, but they have like 4 or something like that total.
Right.
And she kind of told me the same thing. She said, it's just so routine. She said, I just can't wait to see what our life is going to be like when the kids get out of the house. Because she thinks it's the kids. And maybe it is, because I don't know.
That's what he said. That's what and there's that catch, the catch-22 again, because that was his defense. Like, we were waiting till we got to a point of when the kids weren't here. And I'm like, but there was always a point of like, oh, well, when this happens, when this happens. And it's like, if you want me, like, we're going to hit the bathroom. We're going to fuck in the car. We're going to, like, we are in our 30s. We're not, like, 59 and, like, tired. Like, why are we pretending like we don't like each other?
Right.
Why do we pretend like we don't like each other? Because I look at couples that have lots of fire intimacy.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're fucking in the middle of the, like, living room and they're telling their kids to go to sleep. Like, it doesn't have to be like that either. There is a happy medium. And intimacy doesn't necessarily have to be sex, but it does have to be making me feel like a beautiful woman, a goddess, a specimen. Like, just like I want to make my man feel, like he's a king, like he's this alpha, like he's this.
Yeah.
I can't even get that out if we sitting there watching the game every damn day.
Right. No, I totally understand. So so tell me, let's go to he finds out. What does that look like? What does he say? What does he do? Like,
it was a horrible day.
Yeah.
It was a horrible day. My phone had broken. I had 2 phones for like a week. I didn't transfer some shit to another phone. I was sleeping and my phone had gone off and something just told him to look at it. And when he looked at it, my coworker had sent me something that had nothing to do with lifestyle. I think something, and he thought I was fucking around with my coworker.
Okay.
So he's like, you have something to tell me? And went through all this shit. And then the next day, he went through a deep dive on my phone and called me at work and was like, you need to come home. And was like, is there anything else you want to tell me?
I hate that. Because you know why I hate that? I feel like, well, in his case, he knew. But a lot of times people don't know.
Yeah, they fishing.
They fishing. And it's like, no, what you know?
What you know? And I was just, at that point, there wasn't shit I could say. When I say I was bad, I was bad. I was doing all the things, all the things that you ever think of.
All in the phone. All in the phone.
Right, I'm surprised I'm alive. There was some pretty bad shit. And we tried to, I think after that, he was like, we're going to break up. And then he was like, okay, we're going to try. And then he was just like, I just can't look at you. And that was the end of that.
That's what I hate about men. I hate that about men. They can't handle, not that he cheated on you, but they can't handle that. And it's like, we get cheated on, we'll take them back. We can see it.
Well, no, he had actually years before,
Yeah.
like years before he had cheated on me. He had like left me for, like broke up with me, like left me for like a coworker. Like he had done his own dirt.
Wow.
He had done his own dirt, and I had still been with him, like because I loved him. And it literally just got to the point of like, he told me to get a hobby. He literally told me, I'm like, you're so much involved with me, worrying about what I'm doing, and why don't you get a hobby? So I did. I got a hobby.
Okay. So you said you got kids. So you guys you had kids.
Right.
What do your kids think about? Do they know what you do?
My kids are grown. Like
Okay.
They're adults. So like the oldest knows what I do, and my kids are they're artists, so they're like very free thinkers.
Right.
You know, I've always taught them to be open-minded, and I mean, I'm a naked kind of person. I'm a free kind of person. So you know, of course, I don't give them like the naughty details in description of what I do.
True.
But they know that I have couples workshops. They know that I teach intimacy. They know that I teach energetic body work. They know that I have kink workshops. They see all my little outfits. They know what I do now, and they're actually like very happy. They say that I'm the happiest that they've seen me. They say that I am walking more in my true self. They are happy that I'm happy. As long as my daughter, she's such a free thinker. She's like, you know, sex work. She's like, sex workers get such a bad rap. And I was like, you're right, baby, you're right.
They do.
And it's not, and you know, there are so many different levels of sex work. And it's like, this is sex work. When
Absolutely.
you are teaching, you know, couples how to have a more in-depth sexual relationship, it's definitely sex work. Even if I'm never having sex with anybody for a monetary gain, it's still within that realm.
Right.
And so it's they're very open. They're very
So
open.
have your kids ever went to any of your events?
No, ma'am. No,
Okay.
ma'am. They came very close to, my oldest was actually going to show art in my last art show. It was an erotic art and kink show. And we ended up not having her at the very end. She didn't have enough pieces ready. But now I'm kind of happy. I didn't ever go.
Why?
Well, I just recently found out that I played with a father and a daughter.
Together?
Not together.
Okay.
No, not together. But I ended up playing with the father and the daughter, like very far separately apart. But I never really want to have to deal with that myself. So I'm gonna try to keep her separate.
Did they look alike? Like now that you know that they're father and daughter,
They
do.
Could you see it? I could see it. I sat there, and as it dawned on me, I was like, "You look just like your daddy." Oh my God, like you look just like your daddy. You look just like your daddy. Yeah, I'm a menace to society.
Wow, I'm wiping tears right now. This is crazy. Okay.
So like twins, father, daughter.
Oh, you mess around with twins?
I met some real good looking. Like I've had a couple twin
Guys? Or
guys
girls?
and girls both.
Okay. Wait, what the twins that you messed around with, was they both guys or one was a guy and a girl?
Both guys. I've kind of been talking, very funny story. Met one twin and then ended up running into his very, very twin brother at a lifestyle party thinking it was him. Almost fucking the other twin, not realizing it was the other twin, and then this. It's
So did you end up fucking both twins?
No, not yet.
Because I want to know who's better.
Not yet.
Okay.
But Lord, let's just from my mouth, working on it because they're both fine. But
Okay. So give me, for everyone who's watching Pussycat Chronicles that love Pussycat Chronicles, give me one of the wildest things you've ever experienced.
So when you have wild interactions more often than not, it's hard sometimes
True.
to go, that this was like
Okay, well just
the craziest.
give me a good one. Give me a good one.
Oh, good one. Oh God, one time I was like with my ex-dom, and I was giving him head, and he has a huge, huge dick, and I was going in, and I ripped the bottom of my tongue.
How?
I don't know. Like, I ripped the bottom of my tongue and my whole mouth filled with blood. I went, spit the blood out, and came back and finished.
Hell no.
Hell
no. It's okay. It's okay. What? You're crazy. It would have been over for me.
Yeah. Like, but we was caught
okay.
up in
Let's
the
talk.
moment.
Okay, so let's get into this dom stuff.
Yeah.
So you consider yourself a submissive?
I consider myself a submissive. I'm a switch leaning more towards submissive in personal, private.
Yes.
Probably personal. In, everyday life more in top energy, but like when I'm alone in sub energy, subspace.
So tell me about your dom. How did you, why is he not your dom anymore? Yes, I want to know. We
brought in a third.
Okay, another submissive.
Mm-hmm.
And he started like fucking with her more. She took him.
Yeah.
Ain't this a bitch?
Yeah, he had actually known her for a very, very long time, and I didn't know.
Oh, so he brought her in.
What's sad is I asked for her. He and I had been seeing each other for about a year, and he was seeing someone else on the side, and I'm like, well, if you see her and I see her, like, why don't because we wanted to be in a poly-style relationship, a poly-style situation. I kept asking, like, bring her, like, let's do this. Like, I all brought her, and
keep going. What happened? Like, how did she move you out? Like, what the hell happened? Why didn't it become a poly situation? Who was jealous? Like, what happened?
He started treating her the way he treated me. And when I would address it, it was like he would use me addressing it as being a brat or being disrespectful or when in a true situation, you should be allowed to ask questions. You should be allowed to change the dynamic. You should be allowed to figure out the way that things are, because whenever somebody new is introduced in a situation, of course, the dynamic is going to change, but our dynamic changed drastically, and I got punished. And every time it was like I got punished and put into a position to where it was like there was no getting out of it.
What's punishment for you in that relationship?
Well, I mean, for every DS relationship is different. But
it's different. That's why I want to know, what was your punishment?
Yeah, like taking away time, taking away time for me, because time and just the sex not being aggressive anymore, like just little things, like things that were really related to what he and I were doing, it really switched to he and her. And it continued to switch until I was out and she was in, and now that's just how it is. And now looking back, like, I feel like it was a little bit of a setup because I didn't know as much. Like, they have known each other for like 20 years. I didn't know that.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, I kept getting put as, oh, well, you're so vetted in this relationship. You're so vetted. And I'm not, like, technically at that time. Like, we were both, like, fairly new, acting like that I'm the leader when, like, I'm technically the new girl. I'm the new girl.
True.
And so she knew him as, like, a person.
She didn't know him as a dom.
Correct. And so she knew him as a person, and he was able to now create and use me like a guinea pig, like all the good things, all the bad things, all the things that you don't like, all the things that I'm gonna use. Now I know what I want.
Exactly. And so now this relationship is fresh and new and exciting because he has her in a position that he's never had her in, and that's right.
And I told her, I said, I think that in the end, I think he had always wanted her like that, which would have been okay. But then if you have to have enough space for everyone. If you don't have enough space for everyone, then be honest about not having that space.
Yeah.
Without trying to make that other person feel like it's on them.
It's because of them.
It's because of what I created in the situation that made the situation not work. It was very hurtful. It was
I could imagine.
Took a long time out. Like, I took like a year to get over it.
I could imagine. Because it's betrayal.
Yeah, because I think a DS relationship is even more honest than a regular one.
That's why it was betrayal.
That's why it's supposed to work. It's like, I'm giving you, like, the the raw version of me.
Yeah.
The raw, unkept, unseen version. And when you give someone that, it's up to them to take care.
Okay. Now, you recently went to like a submissive like retreat or
yes,
something,
it was amazing. It was amazing. With the Black Queer Dom Society, it was beautiful. I was there with 24 other submissives. I was there to train them on aftercare and how to take care of their doms through massage and through body work. But for the other 3.5 days that I was there, I was able to just soak up all of this information on the DS dynamic. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Tell us about like what kind of stuff did you learn on this?
We went
retreat?
through protocol. We went through vetting. We went through true protocol when you are submissive. How you greet your sub, how you greet your dom.
How do they say how you greet your dom?
It depends for every person. Sometimes it could be on your knees with your heads down. Sometimes it could be in a submissive position where you're waiting for them to release you. Mm-hmm. It depends on, there's like 24 different positions that you could be waiting for your dom before they even get there. For each dom, maybe they want you to be completely showered. They want you to be freshly. Maybe they want you to be dressed up like a baby doll. Like everyone is different. But it reminded me of the beauty of the relationship, which is what I like. How there is so much protocol, how there is so much thoughtfulness that goes into a true DS dynamic.
You know, it's crazy. I have a slave submissive or whatever, mm-hmm. and like it is a lot of thoughtfulness that goes into it because every time I see him, I come up with different fantasies and things that I know that he's gonna like, so right. I can continue to get money from him. Of course, I'm a financial dom, but I would never come up with all this stuff in a regular relationship. Ever. But for him, mm-hmm. every week before I see him, I'm coming up with something creative for us to do. Also because I don't want to get bored. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want the same thing. So I enjoy it as well. You know, but it's definitely way more thought than a regular relationship.
Right. Yeah. And that thoughtfulness also makes you feel more cared for.
Yeah.
As a submissive, like for, people that have either they deal with too much in life mm-hmm. or they've dealt with, so much trauma or, they just have so many things that they are having to control on their own. To be with someone that you can actually give up control to, there's a freedom in that.
Absolutely.
And it's not easy to find. I haven't found it again. I don't even know, like, another dom relationship. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for it. Like, I will be at some point, but it's a lot. It's definitely a lot when you're the submissive, you know, because you just give up so much of yourself and you have to, just accommodate so much, you know? And I mean, it's also interesting in like figuring out what kind of submissive you are, like whether you are a service sub or whether you are, a little or a middle or you're into...
I know what a little is. What's a middle?
A middle is...
Is it the middle child?
No, because
I know a little is a kid.
Right,
you know?
Right. So a middle is like almost where you are more, you relate more to like that high school age, like that bratty kind of like.
Oh, like, that's a middle.
That's a middle, like where you are, you kind of going to get your way, and like all of those things. Like that's a middle. Like
okay, they also call that a bratty. Can't remember. They call it a bratty something, but yeah, I heard this other term to kind of it's similar to that or whatever. Right. I've heard this new term recently called praise king.
Yes.
I love this. I want a praise king.
I have a praise kink, but like I'm also more of like a kajar, which is like a sex sub. I'm also more into like rope bunny. I'm also slightly into masochism, but
wait, hold on, let's back up. What's rope bunny?
I like to be tied up. I like to be tied.
Oh, that's
I like
the
to be
rope
bound
bunny
like
is?
shibari.
Okay.
Yeah, like
okay.
I enjoy being bound.
Okay. And what do you enjoy about that?
Because I like to be treated like a piece of furniture sometimes. Like, hold me up, turn me over, put me here. I love that.
Okay,
I love
okay.
that.
You said I like to be treated like a piece of furniture. I love it.
Like I love it.
Okay. I'm sorry I cut you off and then you were going somewhere. Let's go back to how you really entered this whole lifestyle.
Into like the kink realm.
Into
and
the
like,
kink, yeah.
So after my ex and I separated, and I finally was like, okay, well, now I'm like free. Like, let's really like get into it. So I started.
Wait, hold up. Before we go there, just a quick question.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to get over that situation? Like, did you jump right into the lifestyle, or were you like heartbroken for a minute?
I was already we tried to work it out, and then I think on like November, because this happened like October 20 something, he found the thing. On like November something, he came to me and he was like, you need to tell your kids that we're separating because I'm about to tell my family not to buy them Christmas presents. And that day, I went and got a new apartment, and he didn't even know.
Wow.
Like, I had an apartment for a month and was moving shit into my new apartment, and he had no idea.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, you're gonna tell your family to not get my...
Right. What the fuck does that have to... Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. So, but when I tell you, I cried every single night, like bawled. Like, it was so painful.
That's what I was wondering.
So painful because I loved him. I still love him. I loved him. He was everything from my past, like, you know, dancing and being, I've always been in like erotic. I asked for him. I was like, I want somebody to just see me that doesn't see me as a sexual being. And
you gotta be careful what you ask for.
I got some strong words. I have very strong words. I asked for him and I got exactly what I asked for. I want someone that doesn't see me as a sexual object. I want someone, this man had never even been into a strip club. He teaches like basketball. Like, he's a coach. Like, very, very good man.
Yeah.
Beautiful man.
Yeah.
But it's like, I was like, what happened to, like, but you know, on paper.
Yeah.
On paper, but that passion. I didn't ask for the passionate man. I forgot that part.
Right. Okay. So you bawled out. You bawled your eyes.
Bawled my eyes out, and then I started going to like lifestyle parties, and I would play. And I think very quickly after I had, not very quickly, like within that first like couple months, I met at like someone who was more of a dominant, who was like, oh, you want a dom sub relationship? Let me show you. And they really weren't shit. They were just somebody that likes to like fuck real rough. Like, and it was my first, but it was my first like, they took me to like my first kink party, like my first swinger party. They threw a lot of swinger parties, so I was able to like jump right in. And you know, the first time I seen people like having sex in public and like all of that, so it was like a kid in a candy store, like almost like that first time you go to your first bar and the lights are
or you know what I would compare it to, I remember the first time I went to my first strip club in Atlanta where it's fully nude,
right, and
seeing women walking around with their vagina out. It was a shock to me a little bit, you know,
like, wow.
Like, yeah, I know.
Like, but it's so interesting that people have that kind of freedom. It's awesome. I loved it. So I was like all about it. I was going to the parties, and I was always known as the girl that didn't really fuck because I was with him. So I'm like, my kink is to be owned. Okay. Like, to be that piece of furniture. So unless he says, furniture, go fuck these people, then I'm really like just chilling. And the more that I went, the more I was like, damn, where's the black people? Like, I would walk in and I'd be like that girl. Okay. Like, oh, we got a black girl here. Like, wow. You know, like, yeah. And not that people are trying to be rude, but like when you look around, it is very, very white spaces. Yeah. And I still, that's when I met the last person that I was with, and we like started going, okay, like we want to like seek out like, you know, spaces that look like us. So that was when I think I went to my first like executive affairs event, which is a lifestyle group in LA that they have very, very POC geared lifestyle parties. And it was like, I kind of found my swag, like my stride. Right. So I started going to those parties, but those parties are not very like kink related. Okay. So I got into throwing events kind of out of a need.
Got you.
Like where I couldn't get what I wanted. So I was like, well, I think the first event I threw was more of a workshop because at that point I was teaching couples. So, I was like, well, if I'm teaching like 3 couples a day, why don't I just do a workshop and I can bring all of the couples into one place? So we started doing like those like smaller where I would have like 6 couples, and then it became like, oh well, people want to like see also like maybe some shibari. People might want to see
What's
like
shibari?
Shibari is like the art, like the Japanese art of like rope bondage.
Okay.
So, and then it was like, okay, people maybe want to see some fireplace. So we started incorporating that. And it got to a point of where I realized that it's very hard to have a workshop, teach, have people drink and party at the same time. Because like, I think there was one workshop where I was like trying to chain massage, and I look over, people were fucking.
Right.
And I'm like, hi. So from that point on, I realized like, I'm only going to have demos that people can watch, a place where people can meet like practitioners that are very well vetted. And by that, I mean like DOMs, subs, different people that have, that sell paddle, like whatever it is, but that have been in the business for a long time, so that they would finally be able to like take that step into the lifestyle that it took me forever to try to find because there wasn't this that existed. And now that's just kind of grown. So everything is always just kind of like piggybacking on top of each other. And now we have these awesome art and kink events that are fusing art with kink and lifestyle that I'm like truly enjoying like curating.
Let me ask you this, because I've been doing this documentary about doms and slaves or submissives. I want to know what for you, 2 questions. What's the worst part of being a submissive?
The worst part of being a submissive is, I believe, having to say yes when you don't want to. And I think that is where I fall into that switch lane. And that's when I'm like, oh, you are very switchy. Because there's parts of me that enjoy watching, like, oh, they flog me. Like, and then there's parts of me where I just want to get up. And I like that primal part of me comes, and there's a switch then in me that definitely happens. And then once it's flipped, then I'm on the other side.
Okay. And then what's the best part of being a submissive?
The best part of being a submissive is being cared for. Truly, and having the aspects of your life in detail that you want cared for to be brought to the forefront and to be, written down on a piece of paper, and that this person is looking out for you in that way.
And for you, what is being cared for as a submissive? For me,
being cared for as a submissive is being checked in on, being sexually satisfied, the aspect of taking care of my dominant in a way where I feel like I'm giving them something that they can't get, that they can take the world out on me. I love that.
Really?
I love that.
That's how my submissive is, and for me personally, I don't know if I appreciate it as much as maybe as I should, because he's always like, he's a white older man or whatever, and he's like, whatever your frustrations against white people and all these things, he's like, I want you to take your frustrations out on me. And I'm just like, that don't really turn me on. Like, that part of it doesn't really turn me on. But yeah, this is a thing. Wow. This is a thing with submissives where this is, I guess, a part of them showing their devotion, their love to their dom. And so for you, that is something as well.
Like seeing their eyes light up when I please them, pleases me so much. Just to know that I've done something right.
Let me ask you this. Is another question that I ask in my documentaries, because I'm very interested. Do you think that there was something in your childhood that led you to yearn for this type of relationship? Like, looking back, you probably don't think about this every day, but like when I start to do this documentary, I start to find things in my childhood that led me to
that
why
led to it.
I enjoy being a dom. So for you,
For me, looking back in my childhood, I know that there are things that have definitely led me to this lifestyle of submission, of sadomasochism, and that's not for everybody, but for me, I did have a traumatic childhood. So there are some aspects of
do you mind sharing? Like,
I was molested at a very, very young age. I was molested at 7, and I was molested multiple times, like up until I was like 14, 15. So I've always known what sex was. I have never, and I think that probably even before then, probably things happened to me. But like, I don't think that there's ever been a time in my life where I haven't known what sex is. I haven't known what private parts look like, smell like. Like, I can remember being a young child and knowing what vagina like smells like.
so you were molested by a woman?
But I was molested by both, by women and men.
Wow.
So it definitely,
Yeah, well, that's the same thing for me that I look back and I'm like,
Right.
okay, being molested, I feel like made me when this life was introduced to me, this lifestyle was introduced to me, I took to it like a fish in water.
right. I feel like that it also helps me. The reason why I was able to cheat on my husband and compartmentalize sex like that.
Yeah.
Because to me, sex not necessarily is love.
Right.
At all.
Right.
Like, my body is furniture.
Right.
So in the grand scheme of things, like, those things are so separated for me that like like I don't think that, like, you know how some people, when they're like, oh, I fall in love, and I can never think of touching somebody else. I'm like, I never, like, that does not run through my mind.
Right.
And when I was with him for that many years, not cheating on him, that was pure will. That was pure me making a conscious decision because at any moment I could have walked away and fucked somebody and he would have never found out.
Right.
It was,
And you would have felt nothing about it.
and felt not a thing about it.
Right.
Like, not like I had done anything, which not necessarily it's the best thing, but like, but that's what makes me know that I am a person that needs a non-monogamous, like, monogamous relationship. That I don't think I could ever be with someone that says you could be with you're never going to be with someone else. Even if I never did, there always has to be an open access for both of us.
Yeah.
Because I'm not normal.
Right.
I'm not a normal
And
person.
it's interesting to me because it's like, okay, we both had these experiences as young girls, right? Both similar experiences, but you went this way, I went this way, and I went this way because I felt like I didn't have any control. Right. And I didn't like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm grown,
right,
and I'm introduced to a lifestyle that I can have all the power, I can have all the control, this is what I want. And so I just feel like it's interesting, you know, how people can have these similar sexual experiences at a young age, and it take you this direction, take you this direction, take you that direction. And that's why I love having these talks with different people, just finding out why you like this or why, you know?
I almost feel like, though, when I put myself in these situations, I am taking control back, because I can stop this at any moment. I can say no. I can do all the things that I was never able to do before, because in this moment, I'm in control.
But as a submissive, you can't really say no.
But you can.
Okay.
There is the safety of the scene.
Okay.
Is if I say orange banana, this stops.
Yes, you do have those. Yes.
Period.
Yes.
No matter what we're doing, no matter how far we are pushing the envelope, no matter what kind of fragile state that I'm putting myself in, I always have the right to say no. Consent is a very huge thing in the lifestyle, in the kink, in this community. if you do not get consent, then you are not allowed to go forth. It is not a sloppy yes, a drunk yes, none of those. I need for you to say, yes, I am okay with you doing these things. If I can't get that, we can't play. I've stopped people in the middle of playing and asked them, are you okay with this? Are you okay? Are you sure? I asked a girl straight up, he wants to stick his dick in your mouth and he wants you to suck it. Are you okay with giving head? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay. Had she been like, yeah, girl, I would have been like, no, girl, let's go. In the lifestyle, like when you attend parties, you have, there are different levels to this shit. You have your bottom of the barrel parties where you might have, you know, Joe Schmo from around the corner who's gonna show up who might not even be in the lifestyle. They might be very vanilla and they walk into a party where women have their titties out and the ass out and they're just thinking this is a free for all fuck party. Not the case when you go to a more elevated event where you're going to meet people that are very well vetted in the lifestyle and they know the rules, they know how to act and they know how to carry themselves. Where you are around porn stars, you can't act that way around a porn star that's making $100,000 in a movie. You know what I mean? Like you can't move like that. So you have to know your surroundings very well as well. It's about, you know, cultivating your experience in this as well and finding your stride in your people.
Were there ever a time when you were in this submissive relationship or any submissive relationship where, tell me a time or a situation where you were very uncomfortable and you had to be like, this doesn't feel right?
Yeah, like I think with the last situation that I was in towards the end, I was put in a lot of like situations where I was made to feel like that this is okay, like that, you know, you just have to listen. And that's not what it is. You can't use your dom power to then use and manipulate. Like, that's not what it is. So I think that I've been put in situations that weren't comfortable where you're asked to maybe play with, especially when I was newer to the life, where you're maybe asked to play with someone that you would like not want to play with, or you're asked to like do things that you wouldn't necessarily do. And then if you're have pressure put on you, you can feel uncomfortable. But I also think that the older I get and the more vetted I get into who I am in my own skin, I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't like that. I really am. I've really kind of gotten to the point of where people have seen me like get up in the middle of something and like walk away, like grab some fruit, and, like, sit down and like watch. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it, and you most likely cannot bend me to do something that I'm not feeling.
Okay, before we end, I just want to, because I personally want to know.
What you want to know, babe?
What's some of your kinks? Give me some of give me some of them kinks. I want to know.
So one of my biggest kinks is I love cum.
Oh, you do? I'm a hater of cum.
I love cum. I love cum so much that I get tested probably like twice a month sometimes. Like I get tested a lot. I don't have a lot of sexual partners, but the ones that I do have, we don't use condoms because I love cum. Like I love like to get nutted in. I love like them to eat the cum. I love for to like share. I'm nasty when it comes to that.
It's so funny because me and my husband have an argument about this monthly about how women do not really love cum. They just love it because it makes the guy feel this way, and women are doing it for the guy's reaction, and we like is it the reaction that you like from the man, or is it that you really, okay, let me ask you that, because this is always my argument.
It's a little of both.
I knew it.
Like if we're fucking, I love that moment before someone nuts.
Oh, that where they like, when they
look at you and they lose their mind. Because they lose their mind a hot second right before they connect. It's like, who the fuck? What did you do to me? I love that look. I'm like, yeah. Like, I love it. And then like, if I'm sucking somebody's dick, like, I still just like the taste. Like, I love like knowing that I have pleased you to the point of completion where your body has exerted this juicy sustenance. Like, I love that. I also love very, very, very rough sex. Like, very rough sex.
You like to be bruised up after.
I love bruises. I love to see you on me after we're done, where I can look a week later and, like, see. I love it.
I can understand that.
Oh, what else do I love? I love anything. I love outdoor sex. I love for like to be fucked. Like we're walking from the from the club to the car. You might pull me to the side and fuck me right here. I love to fuck in public. I don't mind being watched. I have a kink where I like to fuck where people are around me, but they might not know I'm fucking.
I love that. That's me.
Like
that's me.
We're on the dance floor and you just shoved a dick in me and we fucking and we dancing and people don't know. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Or you know what else I love? I love to do things sexually in front of someone that's subtle and kind of make them feel uncomfortable.
Right. Like where they're like, did they just...
Or and I'm like trying to see if they like, you know what I'm saying?
Notice, my favorite thing was when I still worked in corporate America. To me, that was the best in dressing in a full suit, but doing little things to just fuck people up in the mind. Like, oh, I didn't know that my.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, hold on, I'm so sorry.
Yes, I love that. Yeah. Yeah, we're here. We're here
all day. My office actually like was to the window, and I would sit like with my legs and my heels and just like work and like watch people as they were like walking by and like I love it. I walking naked like to my car, like taking my I should have been fired.
Wait a minute, you walk naked to your car?
Okay. I would like take out my top and like walk through the parking garage like with my top out like for crazy thing.
No, I love that too. I'm just being dramatic. All right. So I want to thank you so much for coming, spilling all the tea, giving us all of your little dirty little secrets.
Hi, my name is the Tantric Mistress E or EK. I am a holistic health provider, a tantric massage therapist, and this was my story.